1. The date was ending. I got in my car after saying goodbye, looked over, and he had his wiener out and was stroking it. 2. I showed up for a date with a woman I met in an app. She shows up with a dude. Expected me to pay for them both to eat and drink for the evening. WTF? 3. A childhood friend of mine asked me to go to dinner after we ran into each other at a party. I thought this would be great, as she had gotten pretty cute since last time I'd seen her, and it was always going well when we were texting. I met her at the restaurant, and to my surprise, there was a middle-aged, business-looking guy there as well. As soon as I sat down, both of them tried to recruit me to one of those pyramid marketing schemes. 4. He was a lab partner in college. He asked me out, and we met for dinner. He locked eyes with me over his salad and told me he thought I was as beautiful as Hitler's niece. He then described to me how he thought I'd be exquisite while pregnant, and how he'd searched so long for a woman so compatible with his genes and heritage, rolling his sleeve to expose a swastika tattoo. I had to change my number. 5. This guy I met on a dating app took me to the Museum of Death for our first date. There wasn't a second date. 6. I got drunk on a first date with a girl, and after leaving the bathroom at the club, I started walking across a dance floor once. I started falling forward, so I decided that maybe I could just start running and my legs would catch up to my torso, and I'd be okay and wouldn't spill my beer. However, what actually happened was that I ran across half the dance floor and then performed a spectacular Chuck Norris-style flying headbutt on my date, who was walking towards me. She instantly dropped to the ground screaming. 7. I once went on a date with this girl I'd known from college, and right in the middle of eating, she ripped this huge fart and said, "Deal with it." The table behind us, with a family of like 8 people, just stared at us rudely. The fart smelled really bad. She did this 2 more times throughout the evening. 8. On my first date, she wanted to bang on the jungle gym. Thank God I was 17, because we got caught by the cops. A few months later, I would be on a list. 9. I met this girl online, and we went for a drink on a Tuesday. We got kicked out from the pub we were in when the girl visited the WC and started taking ketamine, leading to very unusual behavior. I tried to help her get home in a taxi, but she didn't know where on her road she lived. So told the cab guy to go to mine, thinking I would just deposit her on the sofa and she would pass out. Nope. She proceeded to crawl around my apartment like a cat, chasing my actual cat, with her incredibly short dress riding up, fanny out. She eventually passed out, but then proceeded to piss herself all over the sofa, floor, cushions, rug, remote controls, window ledges. 10. A girl I went out with took me to see where Ted Bundy supposedly hid the bodies of his victims. 11. I went on a date with a loud talker who described in vivid detail a porn he watched that took place in an abattoir. I had my face in my hands, but he just kept talking. When it was over, he leaned in to kiss me, with his tongue already out, but I turned away, so his open mouth and tongue smashed into my cheek. He asked me how to get to the subway. I pointed him in the wrong direction and drove home. 12. We were parked and making out in the car in a residential neighborhood after dark. A cop came and told us to move along, but ran our IDs before letting us go. Turns out she had a warrant out for something or other. He arrested her, and I went home and never saw or heard from her again. 13. I've been seeing this guy for a couple of months, but we never actually went on a date. So when we finally had a date, we went to get some froyo. He comes and picks me up, and he brings his mother along. He apparently can't go on dates unless she comes with him. So we were sitting at our own table, eating, and I lean over to show him something on my phone. His mom gets up and marches over to our table and grabs my phone, practically shouting, "What are you showing my son?" It was a funny puppy video. I took back my phone, broke up with him, and walked home. 14. This guy took me to a planetarium on our first date. He fell asleep and snored loudly through the show. 15. I once went to dinner with a guy I met online. I knew he was in the tech field, and that's cool because I like that kind of stuff too. I was not expecting for him to wear Google glasses for our entire date. He kept getting distracted by them, and when I asked what he was doing, he said, "Taking pictures." I thought that was creepy and chose not to go back to his place after the meal. 16. This isn't as weird as some of the other stuff on here, but for our first date, my boyfriend and I were going to see a movie, but it was overrun with Weird Al impersonators and the ticket sold out. 17. I was driving to the theater, and she said, "Hey, do you mind if I smoke? And before I could answer, I noticed she was lighting a crack pipe. I was horrified. I went to the movie with her, but told her afterwards that I wasn't feeling well enough to do dinner and asked for a rain check. I never called her back. 18. I went on a date to a sushi bar with this guy. Pretty cute, met online. He ordered ramen for us both. I'm not a chopstick master. I tried using them and kept dropping noodles and making a mess, so I asked for a fork from the waiter. My date starts screaming. You do not use a fork. It's disrespectful. You're supposed to use chopsticks. If you can't, then don't eat it. The waiter stared at him, then looked at me and said, It's okay if you need a fork. I had tears in my eyes and just mumbled, No thanks, I'll be going. I handed him some cash and left. 19. On my very first date ever, I went to a movie with my new girlfriend. She hadn't mentioned anything about this, but she ended up bringing her sister. Her identical twin sister. I had no idea who was who all date long and didn't find a way to ask. She later told my friend she thought I was more into her sister than her. 20. I went on a blind date. I show up at the restaurant and the girl is my cousin. 21. A month ago, I went on a first date with a guy. We hit it off. He was walking me home afterwards and decided to do one of those romantic moves where the guy dips the girl and then kisses her. Only he miscalculated, slamming the back of my head into the sidewalk. I ended up with a moderate traumatic brain injury, and he broke his finger trying to stop the fall. We were right outside a hospital when this happened, so we ended our date in the ER with all of the staff cracking up at the ridiculous story we had to tell. 22. Met a guy at a club listening to a fun band. I was psyched to have met someone IRL. It was on my way out, so we swapped numbers and made plans to talk. We texted, had some great conversations, and made plans. He suggested great Mexican place. It looked like it was going to be fun. He picked me up, and on the way said I should tell you something, and proceeded to tell me he was married with 2 kids in an open relationship. We then spent the first date talking about his wife and their open relationship. What did you think of these Ask Reddit answers? Do you also have a weird first date story? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We are a new channel, and we really appreciate your support. We publish stories with new topics multiple times a week. From Reddit Stories Bonanza, we wish you an amazing week.